Hello, everybody. This is Marlena McWilliams. We are so excited to be on this live. This is the first time we've done in quite some time here at Moscati and Company. And we're looking forward to having you guys join on with us. And we're going to talk about real estate and we're going to talk about to do and what not to do. We're going to talk about what you should have and what you shouldn't have. Then we're also going to have the agents come on, talk about their experience as being an agent, what they think, some of the home ownership stories and values their clients have shared. And we're going to have some fun. So we're going to get some people on here. Live sometimes take a little time, and we're going to continue to love on you guys because that's what we do all day. So just give us a couple minutes. We're looking forward to you guys joining. MJ will come on next. We're going to keep the party going.
Hey y'all, we are here at our listing on Capitol Avenue. Looking so forward to showing you guys around, letting you know everything that this unit has to offer. If you have a friend that's thinking about buying or just has some questions about it, think about if they actually want to jump in, have them join this live so we can talk to them about the haves and the have-nots, the do and the do not. Excited to talk to you guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jody. Welcome to Have and Have Nots. We're very excited for you to join us this evening.
All right, guys. So we're in here having fun. If you're in the Ivy City area, maybe you're shopping at Target right now. You might be over at Ivy City Smokehouse, or maybe hanging out with some friends at Throw Show. These are all things that are here in the Ivy City area that you can enjoy as a resident, where you can just walk out of your house and walk to see those or participate in those events. There's many more things. There's actually a bourbon distillery around the corner. There is a fish market here in Ivy City that I frequent as well to get fresh fish, And we want to make sure that you know about Ivy City. It's a small little area in the Northeast quadrant that actually does not have its own school. So most of the kids that go here are bussed out and sent to another school, either in Trinidad or in Brentwood, because it has no real school district. Quick fact about Ivy City is it was an industrial area built predominantly when it was originally built for African Americans, where we settled, and there were a lot of industrial factories over here where people worked and lived. So it is one of the smallest legal subdivisions in Washington, D.C., but it still has a lot of buzzing and vibrant things that are coming and happening in the area. So one of our listings, I'm standing in the beautiful kitchen right here in 1937 Capitol Ave Northeast, Unit 1, and we also have Unit 2. Unit 1 is priced at $475, and Unit 2 is priced at $575. Now, you might be saying, why the price difference? Well, Unit 2 has an extra half bath. It is larger in size by about 200 square feet. In addition to that, it has a private rooftop deck. So we hope to figure out a way to show you guys that live so you can see the beautifulness. I mean, you can go on top and say, I'm on top of the world, mom and dad, and see all of these. We're going to talk about home ownership. We're going to talk about what you should do and what you shouldn't do, what you should have and what you shouldn't have. I'm going to give you your first. You should always have a realtor, whether you're buying, selling, or leasing a property. You should never not have a realtor. So have or have not, that's your first one.
All right, I was hopping on really quick to give one of the important halves. It's really important. I know a lot of times we see different reels and realtors making jokes about having your pre-approval before shopping, but it's really important. It sets the expectation when you're shopping for what you should expect for the amount that you have to purchase with. And as that moves to different counties, different cities, going up to Baltimore or DC, that buying power changes. So it sets a tone for what you'll be able to buy in that market. So it's very important to have your pre-approval before you start shopping. All right.
Hey guys, MJ back to share one of the things that you should do or not do when you're looking at purchasing a home. So one thing that I always feel like is important for people to know is you should check with your realtor before making any large purchases during your pre-approval process. You don't want to do anything to mess that up. don't want to get to the end where you've fallen in love with a house and aren't able to get it because now your debt to income ratio is off. So anytime you're thinking about making a purchase or doing anything different, you want to give your realtor a call to make sure, is this okay to do or not to do?
Come on, Jody, give them what to do or not to do. We got
I'm
it
camera
going.
shy. Hi everyone, Jody here. So what to do and what not to do. So I'm going to hit on location preferences. I think there is absolute importance in knowing where you want to be located, whether that be neighborhood, proximity to schools, amenities surrounding. We spend a majority of our time either in the office or at home or on the road. So do your due diligence, understand the distance, the proximity to whatever your likes and dislikes are, and do that research prior to narrowing down your search. So thank you.
Namaste from Jody. Jody gave a very key important thing. So you've heard that you should have a realtor. You heard that you should not have a realtor. That's a double negative. I know. And then we heard that you should get your pre-approval. That is a to-do. You cannot go out shopping without that. That is a not do. And then you also heard that you need to know your location and that you needed to know, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting MJ's. I'm trying to recap.
You need to know, don't negate the purchase.
That's very important. I'm surprised I even forgot that. Do not purchase big, expensive things while you're in the process of purchasing your home. You should not purchase big, expensive things. So don't co-sign on a car loan. Don't take out any more student loan debt. It's okay to take your normal trips, your normal grocery shopping, but do not make any large purchases. All right. For another to do or not to do, we're going to talk about should you or should you not worry about interest rates. So I say it's always a great time to buy, no matter what. If you're buying and your money is in the right place, you're getting the right location, you're pre-approved and you're comfortable with that mortgage payment, regardless of interest rates, it is always a good time to buy a house in the right location, given the right environmental and outside factors, and of course, financial factors for yourself. One thing that people always get confused on, and we'll have our lender come on and talk about, is that if prices go up and interest rates go down, you pay more than you would if prices are flatlined a little bit, but interest rates are higher. I'm going to say that one more time. You will always pay more if prices go up and interest rates are down than you would if you were to buy when prices have kind of settled out and flatlined and interest rates are higher. So people always think I need to wait for the rate to drop. No, you don't. You're going to pay more from the house than you would normally. So that's another not to do. Don't wait. I've never had a buyer that said, oh my God, I'm so happy I waited. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Miles. He's going to give you something else. And he is ready to jump on Mr. Ratliff. He likes to dance over there while he off screen, y'all.
Another do is to get a realtor on Moscati & Company. We do say that we are a family. It's very important that you find an agent that you have a great rapport with, just beyond business, but personality-wise. It's important that they understand you and that you develop a great relationship with them. So I think a lot of times I run into people who don't have that with their agent. And so while things may be getting taken care of on the business end, there's a disconnect with them communication-wise. So it's very important to interview agents and make sure you're understanding if that's going to work, their dynamic, their communication, and all of those different pieces. All right, MJ, come communicate with the people.
Hello. So I have another thing to share for you guys, which you do not want to do. Do not go to a brand new build home development without letting your realtor know. Let me tell you why. Once you go into a new build, they have decided that you are now working with them if you have not told them that you have a realtor. And when you come back, you will not be able to bring representation. Now, let's think about this. The agent that's working in a new build is working for who? They work for you? Or are they working for the person that's paying their bills? You got it. They're working for the person that's paying their bills. They're working for the developer. And so we want to make sure that you are represented. We want to make sure that you are getting the best bang for your buck and that the things that you need and the things that you want are being represented in your transaction. So do not, I know it can be tempting. You drive by, you see the open house signs, you get really excited about going and checking the house out. Do not get out your car until you shoot your realtor a phone call so that they can let you know the protocol to follow before you move forward with being in this open house that they have. Okay. All right. Back to Jody.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to flip it. We're going to do what not to do. So I think the next one would be neglecting hidden costs. I think too often, whether we go through the pre-approval process and get to the point where numbers are ran and we have what we think is a holistic view of what it'll cost us, we neglect the hidden costs. And those hidden costs are HOA fees, maintenance, and things of such. So repairs, maintenance, HOAs, do your due diligence again, factor those numbers in. They pop up, and those capital costs, those very extremely high ones can certainly impact one's financial state. So do not neglect hidden costs.
I'm back. Marlena had to step out, of course, conduct a little business, the busy pit bull in a skirt. But one major thing that MJ talked about was new construction. And a lot of people don't know that when they go to new builds that they have something called a front fee. And whenever that county puts out water and sewage out to that new build, there's a front fee, which is usually 15 to 25 years and usually around $500 to $800 annually. A lot of people do not know that cost is going to sneak upon them before they go ahead and sign and put that deposit down. So do know that it's something to know when you go into a new build. All right.
Well, that was the new development king. That's why he wanted to talk about new developments. Yes, that name has been bestowed upon him because if you want to know about new developments, especially in Maryland, Mr. Miles Ratliff knows about them all for sure. He just told us about a new development. So do watch out for new developments in Maryland that are offering great buy downs. There is one right now in Prince George's County that's offering $499. Him and MJ posted about that, so go check their prior posts that talk about that incentive program to buy in a new development. So you get a brand new house and you get an interest rate of 5%, where interest rates right now lie around 6.6%. So as MJ said, she said, always take a realtor new development, which is very important. And as Miles said, you need to know about the front foot benefit fee that you're going to get charged. Even if you're buying a resale unit that's been in a new development, but it's less than 15 or 20 years, you're probably going to have what is called deferred water and sewer charges that are going to be transferred. So make sure you always take your realtor, make sure you're aware of the front foot benefit, and make sure you look out for the incentive programs that go on at the development sites. Miles just brought up a great one. They've posted it. It's 4.99 in Prince George's County. You have to inbox one of us to find out more.
I know y'all missed me. I'm back. So now I want to tell you something to do. Do ask questions. When you're purchasing a home, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You want to make sure that you're asking anything that you're not sure about, anything that you're wondering. Your realtor, one of us, will be more than willing to answer any question that you have. If we don't have the answer, we will find it out, okay? But don't reserve your questions and wait until it's too late to ask any questions that you have. All right. So Jody's going to come back over and she is going to share some things with you.
Hi, y'all. Thanks. The quality time we're going to get here. We're going to go back to a to-do. So I think something to do is to assure that you have a home inspection done. Professional opinion so that they can find any issues with the home prior to purchase so that you can negotiate and work those out before you call that your new home. So
That's a good one.
yeah, I think it works. I'm gonna offer to do that. Ma'am. She has this here.
I love that they're just on here talking to each other in whispers, like y'all can't hear them. All right. So we're going to have our lender come on. He's going to talk about current interest rates today. And what it means for you and how much home you could potentially purchase. In addition, he's going to discuss for these particular units that we're in, how much it would cost you to live in these units, depending on the down payment that you put down. So I see Zach right there. Hi, Zach. Hopefully he can hear us. Hello, Zach.
Hello.
So, Zach, we would like you to get on, and are you going to share your screen? Can you talk about where interest rates are today and what that means for buyers? And from your 20 years, he's old, of experience, what that means for buyers today and how they should truly feel about interest rates.
Sure. So let's see here. I'm trying to get up the first chart I'll pull up here is rates over the last year. Now, ironically, interest rates are very similar to where they were when I started in the business, somewhere in that mid-6, upper-6 range. If you look back at the last year, you can kind of see where we peaked out in October. And then rates absolutely plummeted, almost down about 2% from the highs in October by the time we got to late December. Started the year out climbing. And once we got to about late April, it kind of started to move down. The general expectation amongst most people that try to predict interest rates and do understand that predicting interest rates is not easy. There's a lot that goes into it, beyond what obviously the Federal Reserve is doing in inflation. There's obviously also geopolitics and just kind of what's going on in the world. And on top of that, you have an election this year too. The general expectation, though, is that rates, not in a linear fashion, but in kind of a zigzag fashion, by the time we get down towards the end of the year, are expected to be closer to 6% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I would not be shocked if we see them lower than that. And I certainly wouldn't be shocked if we see them higher. I think much like the stock market, if you're trying to time a purchase with interest rates, you're probably not going to do well. And the other thing with interest rates is to bear in mind that obviously as the rates come down, the demand goes up. And the issue that we have had in the real estate market in general, not only in our area, but nationally, has been more buyers than sellers. So as these rates go down, the amount of buyers go up, and the rates would have to come down a lot bit more to start incentivizing some of the sellers out there. So if you look back at a historical chart, and you can kind of see, where things were back in the 70s and 80s, the times that my parents or other people would talk about. But if you look at where rates got down to during this kind of long 10-year treasury mortgage rate bull run, a lot of these people have interest rates down here. And as a result, when it comes time to move, as I'm talking to clients, many of them are wanting to keep their homes because they've locked in interest rates down in the 2.5%, 3% range. So even as rates come down, these people are not incentivized to sell. Now, historically, rates over the last 20 years, this is kind of where when I got in the business right about here, 6.5%, 7%. I don't think we're going to see rates move higher than this. I genuinely expect them to come down, as do investors, people purchasing these mortgage-backed securities. That is the general consensus. But also understand that as they come down, you're probably going to be dealing with a lot more demand, and you're probably not going to be seeing a lot more sellers as a result, unless rates were to substantially come down, which I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon.
Back when I was born in 1984, rates were like at 10 to 15%. Yes.
And we hear those stories, and the 2-1 buy down to 12%. And I've talked to people who are happy about their 11% interest rate. So yeah, I mean, it's all about perspective. Obviously, coming off of the heels of 2020 and 2021, the 7% interest rate does not sound very appealing. But when you put it in a broader context, and you kind of look back at where rates were historically, on this chart, they don't look that high. But I also think that, you have to bear in mind the interest rate can be temporary, in the sense that as rates come down, you'll be able to refinance. but it would be wise to purchase before the rates come down, because the competition level that you'll be dealing with as those rates come down will increase, whereas you will already have your home secured and have the ability to just refinance and drop that interest rate and drop that payment. And it may be something you do multiple times. I mean, we literally had people, going back to this chart, we literally had people that purchased here who we ended up refinancing here. So I had a couple of people that didn't purchase in late October that we did refinances for in December. So that's how quickly it can happen. I'm not saying it will, but when rates move, they can move quickly.
And then you gain equity and you saved yourself some monthly mortgage payments, all right?
Yes. Now we can go to kind of a buy versus rent scenario, and that kind of, this would demonstrate what you're speaking towards. You know, if you're looking at purchasing and selling in 1 to 2 years, this is probably not the market for you. You know, obviously, if you had purchased in March of 2020, you probably could have sold in December of 2021 and done very well. But when you're purchasing, you know, typically you want to have a longer term mentality. So if you look at this chart here, which can be confusing admittedly, but is drawn up in a manner to compare rent versus ownership. And this one is done specifically on Capitol Avenue Unit 101. What you can see is kind of that output that it may take you initially between your down payment, between your closing costs. And then it can also take you some more money out of pocket. You know, if you were renting this unit for say around $2,750 versus having a mortgage payment that's going to be closer to $3,600, you obviously have an additional cash flow output that you're having over the course of time. But what's happening over the course of time is rent is going up and the value of the property is going up. So while you may start out paying below $2,800, you know, while you may start out paying $3,700 on your mortgage, by the time you get to year 5, those numbers start to get closer. By the time you get to year 9, you're probably paying less. But a part of your mortgage payment, bear in mind, is going towards paying your balance down. So over the course of 9 years, you're paying your balance down by $55,500. You are building equity in your home by paying down your mortgage. You are also probably seeing appreciation in the home and building equity in the home that way as well. And it's compounded. And it's compounded on that higher value. One of the beautiful things about ownership is you can purchase and put in $30,000, and then you're seeing the appreciation on $500,000. So rather than investing in a stock where you put $30,000 into the market, if it goes up 100%, you made $30,000. Well, if you have a house that's worth $500,000 and it goes up 100%, you have $500,000. So over the course of 9 years, with that compound interest, just at an appreciation rate of 4% per annum, you're seeing appreciation grow from 475 up to basically somewhere in the range of 665. So about 190,000 in appreciation gain. You're paying your mortgage down 55,000. This number right here is actually, in personal opinion, a little bit low. This is based upon a married couple with a standard deduction. If this were a single person, that standard deduction will be closer to $14,500, I think it is. So you would see a much bigger tax benefit. And this is also only taking into consideration the federal tax rate, whereas you'll also see savings on your DC taxes. So over the course of time, this number could be substantially higher. Go ahead.
This all this tells people is win, right? So you're going to win by appreciation. You're going to win by, even though in the beginning you may have to help pay down your mortgage, you have somebody else contributing to paying down your mortgage, and you're going to win with the IRS, Uncle Sam tax, I want you, by the tax savings. So
yeah, I mean, even more so than what you're seeing here, because a couple of things. One, this tax benefit is probably going to be substantially more. Secondly, this is based upon you keeping a 6.99% interest rate for 9 years, which is probably not going to happen. So while rents are going up and rates are coming down, you're refinancing and you're dropping down your payment while rent is going up. So, you know, over the course of 9 years, if you were to purchase, you were to sell, using this calculus, your appreciation gain, your amortization gain, your tax benefit, minus out your cash flow difference, you know, where you're paying more for rent versus the mortgage, minus out the closing costs of purchasing that home, minus out the estimated cost of sale of that home 9 years from now, you're still coming out ahead by about $172,000. And this is how most Americans build wealth in this country. You know, this is where a majority of the net worth of Americans is. It certainly accounts for a majority of mine, I'll say on a personal level. Yeah. So this is a draw up of some options. Now, what I will say is the property at Capitol Avenue, as you've noted in the listing, qualifies for a lot of great products, a lot of CRA products, Community Reinvestment Act products. This is just one of them. It comes with a $7,500 grant. There are others. We have some where there's no mortgage insurance, the interest rate is lower, doesn't have a grant, has a smaller grant. Variety of products out there. Other mortgage companies have them too. But in this instance, if you were, say, purchasing with 3% down and using the $7,500 grant and needing about $20,000, your all-in payment, including that condo fee, taxes, insurance, et cetera, is around $3,741. That number should come down some because the property taxes, you get the homestead. And then hopefully also be refinancing to bring that number down as well. There are other ways of bringing this bottom line down lower. There's certainly other ways of bringing this payment down lower as demonstrated here. You can make larger down payments, etc. And I'm happy to forward these numbers to anybody who wants them. I also drew them up for unit, excuse me, for unit 201 as well. Just so you can kind of see the difference there. Obviously the payment's going to be higher. You're financing roughly $100,000 more. So in this instance, if you're doing 3% down, the bottom line probably gets closer to $25,000, and that all-in payment gets a little bit under $4,500. Once again, multiple options at your disposal, ways of getting that payment lower, ways of getting that bottom line lower, but just to kind of generally speaking, show you what you're looking at. So I will stay on, and if anybody has any questions after the end of the presentation, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer them at that time. And if anybody wants me to email any of these documents over to them, I'm happy to do so as well.
Well, your real estate team would like you to email these documents to us. We don't even know these documents.
And I do have a question for you, Zach.
Awesome. All right. What's up?
I got a question for you. Out of your 20 years of experience, how many times have you had a renter come to you with a check from their landlord to help them buy their next home?
0.
But how many sellers that have sold their home have money to help with their down payment to their next home?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about rent is you were just paying someone else's mortgage, you know.
The math is math.
Yeah. If you're looking to be somewhere for a year or 2 years, it can make sense. But obviously I'm not completely impartial beyond working in the mortgage business. I own 4 houses. Some of my biggest regrets in real estate are the 2 houses I sold. And yeah, I mean, it accounts for probably about 60% of my net worth. And the great thing about it is, and what I like to do with my financial portfolio in general is just kind of build in savings that you don't notice. So a couple of the houses we own, investment properties, we have them on 15-year mortgages. And just even though they're cash flow negative slightly, we're just putting money away into the equity because we're paying the mortgage down. And the goal is to have them free and clear when the kids go to college. And we just have a couple of basically, eggs sitting there at our disposal to use when we need to.
Yeah, that's what a mentor told me once. He said, for every child you have, you need to have a house worth at least $350,000 to $500,000. So I had one child.
Good.
So he's
I'm on pace because I had 2 of them.
I stopped there.
All right, I'm going to bounce off. I'll be available at the end for questions.
Send your real estate team those documents. Thank you.
I'm sending them to you now.
All right, Zach, thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys. So you heard from a few, well, I should say about, let's see, there's 4 of us here, and we went around 3 rounds. So you heard about 12 have or have nots to do or not to do's. We've given you some of the information. You just heard from a very experienced lender that if you work with our team, we will get you connected with him. You'll be able to get the numbers and know the information that's going on as far as the best time, how to buy, what lever to pull for your financial situation in purchasing your next home or investment property. We help investors as well. So we're going to conclude this and end this here. Let everybody come and say just something that they feel as a realtor that home buying has meant to a client that they have served or helped. MJ's standing right here because she likes to be on camera. She's a ham. You know what a ham is? That's her. All right. So we're gonna let her go first.
I'm not a ham. I'm a homie. I like to be here and support the people that need me most. But no. So what homeownership has meant for some of my clients is consistency. Life sometimes, and you can't predict it. You never know what's going to happen, but being able to have your housing be a consistent payment in your life, it's not going to vary greatly in your time in the house, is always a great benefit. Sometimes you don't realize it till it happened. I mean, it's also been my situation in certain parts of my life as well. Being able to know that my rent's not going to go up. My landlord isn't going to make the decision they want to sell. Everything, all these things are in my control. The stability is great. So I'm going to stay here, Miss Ham.
That means you like to be on camera.
I know.
Jeez.
I know.
I love you, Ham.
And thank you.
So hi everyone. Hi again. Jody here. I think one big takeaway for me and the clients that I have had the honor and privilege to work with is understanding that and seeing that they are grasping that they're investing in themselves. As an agent and an investor, I think it's so important to, the background is quite comical. I think it's so important to understand that this is actually an action towards investing in yourself and your family. And home ownership is just that. The purchase, the equity that grows, what you can do after the fact, how you can extend that across multiple properties and create financial freedom for yourself and your family is a big deal. So that would be my offering to you all.
All right. I'm last up. So it is National Home Ownership Month, and what home ownership means to me, it's just an investment that it's not such a hard time to actually invest in. A lot of times we are fine investing like, hey, I don't have any more money left to invest. With owning a home, you have to live somewhere, you have to go to sleep somewhere, you have to unlock a door after a long day of work and go to bed somewhere and watch TV and Fox News and whatever you're watching at home, Real Housewives of Atlanta, whatever you're doing, somewhere. So why not do it in the place that you're going to reap a benefit from paying for every month? It makes sense. So that's those payments you're making, those rental payments you're making, you don't get a return on them. They don't call you and say, hey, I heard you're buying a house. Here's a check for you. Just like MJ said, a lot of times with home ownership, there are so many programs and so many ways to enter home ownership that you don't find renting. And so it's no reason not to do the same thing you're doing at whatever address you're at now and just changing the address, but let the address address some of your issues down the line, like selling it and making a fortune. Home ownership is that can happen with home ownership. All right, Marlena.
All right. Everybody on my team is very comical, as you can tell, because I attract what I am, obviously. So this will come out as a video. We're going to make some edits and cuts. Still good information to pass around to people and repost. So it will be there and available for that. It has great information on it. And as you can see, everybody on my team, even though we like to have fun, which is one of our goals when we serve clients, is to try to make it fun, is that we're all very experienced. We all care very deeply, and we're all very knowledgeable. And I'm proud to be the leader of these great people and to know that they want to service you in that manner and in that way. So what it means to me is the same thing that Zach just talked about. Investing in stocks and bonds, I did that as well. I think you should be diversified, but I think most of your portfolio should be in real assets that you can see. Okay. We are one of the only countries where you can get a 30-year mortgage, where you can actually own land. And that's what the real American dream is about. Okay. So that's why people come here to build wealth and leave other areas, because their countries, unfortunately, don't allow that in majority of the world. So take advantage and get your piece of pie of the American pie. We are Mascotti & Company, your household lucky charm. Bye-bye.
Mascotti & Company. Subscribe, like, and share.